Hello, Google Heroes. With this video, we are going to continue learning about Google Docs. But before we start, I want to look at that list of unit objectives, and let's just go through what we've learned already and what we're going to learn. So far, you guys learned about the toolbar and how to enter text. So we're going to put a strike through those. You learned how to format paragraphs and format text. So let's go ahead and strike through those. Learned how to insert and format pictures. So we can do the strike through on those. And that's about it. Well, you've learned a little bit of sharing, but not totally. So today, what we're going to look at is undo and redo. We're going to look at drawings, and we're going to look at check spelling. So without further ado, let's switch to our Google Drive. And you'll notice I have us in the Docs folder that you guys created for this class. You should already have a file called Found Dog in that folder. We're going to go ahead and create a new Google Docs. The title of this Google Docs is going to be Buffalo Photo Shoot, and we're going to put that right up here. So now that we have our file named, we can start creating. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Insert and Drawing. Now, drawing is the area that allows us to be a little more creative in Google Docs. So instead of just having plain words and text and pictures, we can kind of make it look a little better using Google Drawings. The first thing we're going to do is add some word art. So we go to Actions, Word Art, and the word art we want to put in is Buffalo Photo Shoot. And hit enter. Now you'll notice that it is a little fancier. It's got a color, an outline, so it's more than just typing in letters. What we want to do with this is change the color to orange, and we want to change the type of font because this looks a little boring. So to change the type of font, we go to More, and instead of Arial, we want to use Bree Serif, so we'll choose that one. Now that we have our word art the way we want it, let's move it to where we want it. So we'll go ahead and move it up to the top. Now you'll notice a red line appears. What that red line is telling me is that this item is centered on the screen. So I want to keep it centered, so we'll go ahead and make sure that line is running right through it. The next thing we want to do is insert a shape. So we go to this button right here, click down on it, and we look through our options. We've got squares, circles, all the basic shapes. We've got a bunch of arrows. We've got callouts and symbols for equations. I want you guys to use callouts and go to a 12-point star. Now it's fairly simple to draw. You just click and drag. We can resize it a little bit if we're not happy with the size. So let's just go ahead and change this up a little bit. Now that we have the shape the size we want, I want you to change the color of it. So we go to Fill Color, and instead of orange, we want to use Light Orange 2. So if you'll notice, if you hover your mouse over the different color swatches, it tells you what it's called. So this one's called Dark Yellow. This one's called Dark Magenta 1. We're looking for Light Orange 1. And there it is. We also want to change the line color to just normal orange. So now we've got our shape exactly the way we want it. Next, we want to put in a image. So we'll go ahead and choose this button, the image button. You'll notice it kind of looks like a picture on the button. So we click on that. And since our Chromebook screen is kind of small, you'll have to click on More and Search. We want to search for buffalo. Now, I don't want to just pick the first buffalo picture on here, so let's look for the perfect buffalo picture. This one looks good. So we'll select this buffalo picture and insert it. Now you'll notice it's pretty big. We want to resize it. To resize, you'll notice that I always go from the corners. So whenever I pull this picture down to make it smaller, it makes it all even when it's going smaller. What I saw a lot of people doing yesterday is they would resize by pulling it down from here and trying to pull it in from there. And you'll notice we get a really distorted picture. Let's hit undo a couple times so that we can fix it. To always get a perfectly clear and proportioned picture, we always resize from a corner. So let's make it a little smaller and move it to the center of our star. Now that we have the picture where we want it, let's put a border around it. So we change our line color to orange. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So we'll just make it a 4-point border. And you'll see it got a little bit bigger so it's more noticeable. Now the last thing we're going to do in Google Drawings is add a little bit of color to this background. So what I want to do is we'll go to where it says line. We want to click on the down arrow next to it. So we want to look at our different options. We've got line, arrow, elbow connector. The option I want you to choose is scribble. Now, scribble is exactly what it means. It's just going to make a random line all over the place. So go ahead and just scribble. And you'll notice I'm just going all over the place. You guys can do the same thing. But before we're done with our scribble, I want to change the color of it. So we don't want just a black line. Let's change that to yellow. Now, obviously, we don't want this yellow scribbly line all over the top. We want it in the background as just sort of an accent. So to do that, we've got our scribble selected. We go to Actions, Order, and we can either send backwards or send to the back. So if we send it backwards, it's going to go behind the buffalo picture. If we send it to back, it'll go behind everything. Now you see the stars in front of it, the picture, and the word art, and that's exactly what we want. So now that we have our Google Drawing the way we want it, everything looks good, creative, we can hit Save and Close. And it'll insert directly into our Google Docs file. And now we have our drawing. Now you'll notice my cursor is right after the drawing. If yours isn't there, move it there just by clicking and hit enter because we want to start a completely blank line. Now you're going to go ahead and enter the following text. Now I put in the text for you and zoomed in. So go ahead and pause on this screen. Hopefully it's a little easier for you to read and you can type. Now that we have the text in, we can start formatting it a little bit. You'll notice on mine where I hit enter, make sure you have everything on a new line when it's supposed to be, and we can start formatting. So first we're going to change all of this. We'll go up to our toolbar and change it all to Allegra. we're going to change the font size of all of it to size 24. And we are going to make a bulleted list out of everything from cost down to the end of this line. So cost, hours, and questions should all be bullets. So we'll go to more and bullets. We want to underline hundreds of buffalo. So right here, we'll highlight hundreds of buffalo, click underline, and we want to change, let me zoom out a little bit. We want to change cost to orange and hours and questions to orange. Looks like I missed a little there. Change that to orange as well. And last, we're going to format the signature line. We're going to center it, change it to size 30 font. We are going to highlight it orange, and we're going to change the text color to white. Now the last thing I want to show you is the check spelling and how to undo and redo something. So let's say we don't want this signature line to look like this. To undo what we've just done, we go up and we click on this little backwards arrow. Undo, undo, undo. So now it's back where it originally started before we started formatting it. But let's say now we decided we really wanted those things. We can click on redo. So redo, redo, and redo, and it's back to where we started. The other thing I want to make sure you guys understand how to do is how to check for spelling errors. So let's just go ahead and misspell Saturday and Sunday. So you'll notice if something is misspelled, it has a red wavy line below it. That means that we have to fix these things. Now there's a couple options to fix spelling that Google gives us. Probably the easiest is to just right click on the word and you can change the spelling of it. I don't know why. Oh, it's giving me all the screencast options. Okay. So we right click on it and we can say, did you mean Saturday? And we can fix it to Saturday. The other way that we can do it is go to tools. So let's say we have a whole bunch of spelling errors and we don't want to have to right click on every single one of them. We go to tools, spelling, and it picks out this word as something we misspelled. We can change it to Sunday. So that's just the last couple of things I want to make sure you guys understand before we move forward. Now you can go ahead and turn it into Google Classroom.